Hunaida, thank you so much for joining me this afternoon, or this evening, I should say. I really appreciate your time. I know you've had a stressful day. So thank you once again. And please, I would love you to introduce my audience because you've got an amazing background.
Thank you so much, Trisha, for your lovely invitation. And I'm really so excited to just, accept it and just to give me a chance to introduce myself and also my background as well. So I actually came from the talent acquisition background, of course, in human resources department. And most of my experiences is in actually hospitality. But still I have a blend of corporate as well. So my role is I love doing this, headhunting people and approaching and interacting with candidates as well. So yes.
Fantastic. That's really great. Now, I believe that you're based in Abu Dhabi. Is that correct?
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Good on you. Most expats generally stick to Dubai, so it's really good to meet someone down the other end of the world, as they say.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah, I came across your profile and I'm really quite intrigued because I saw on your tagline that you had talent acquisition, headhunter, and HR recruitment. Could you maybe just walk us through the audience, maybe some of the differences, if there are any, in terms of these terminologies and phrases?
Great. Yes, of course, there are differences there between the HR operations, as we call it, HR ops, and the talent acquisition. Of course, the in terms of the techniques that we are approaching candidates. Let's say, of course, the talent acquisition. There are so many techniques on how do we approach candidates, if we are talking about the passive candidates or the active candidates. So basically the active candidates who are, clearly have applied for a post, which we have already posted, for example, using the recruitment channels, like one of the most famous channel is LinkedIn, let's say. So these are the people who are actually applying for the posts directly. While the passive candidates, these are the people who are we approaching, who are just passively looking for a job, or maybe they are not even interested to look for a job, but using our techniques to introduce the company and also sell our company and say what exactly we do, what is the industry we do, what benefits are we going to, impress them with, that made them interesting more into the role.
And so this is part of talent acquisition, right?
Right. Yeah. And also for the actually human resources ops, when we're talking about the human resources operations, it's more about the running tasks every day in terms of, for example, the leaves the staff are taking, for the internal employees themselves, and also for the documentations required for the onboarding process for the newcomers and so on, and also for the exit process. If we're talking about the exit interviews, we conduct also so many aspects in human resources are, like we're talking about differences between the talent acquisition and human resources. Yes, of course, there are a lot.
Yeah. Fantastic. And headhunting, is it common in the market that obviously in recruitment, people will work for the client. So, a recruiter would be sourcing talent for the client, but is there such scenarios or cases or a role where a company would source jobs for the job seekers rather than the clients?
Yes, of course. Headhunting is that, when we actually approach the passive candidates, is actually the same meaning when we approach the candidates and we actually hunt them, we headhunt them. So what we do, basically, we have kind of Boolean search, where we are targeting the candidates and we target the qualifications, what we are seeking for against, for example, let's say the job requisition that we have, against the competencies that we are looking for. So the job requirements against the candidate competencies and skill set. So, yeah.
So how, obviously, the market's quite saturated these days, and I guess LinkedIn is probably, one of the biggest platforms at the moment that a lot of people are using. So how do you identify talent? Do you only look at their LinkedIn profile and make a judgment from that? If you are passively a job seeker, if you're a passive job seeker or an active, how do you differentiate talent between the two?
Great. So, of course, the job, I mean, like the application profile, it is not that the only thing that we are looking at. It's not enough for us to, assess the candidate qualifications and competencies. So there are so many factors, other factors, and also so many phases that we go through in order for us to judge if this is, or he is, or she is the right caliber for the role or not. For example, so what we do, like nowadays, for example, as far as I know, that transformation that is happening in the market, automation as well. The screening phone call, the telescreening phone call is not required anymore, as we have like new technology, new websites, like, without mentioning any name, of course, but who are using like e-recruitment, and there is like, telescreening and filtration as an interviewer who is sitting on the, like just conducting interview with the candidate, and then the candidate goes through the filtration process without human touch, So that actually makes the process easier for us, and also save time rather than consuming time. Plus, how do we actually find and, hunt the right caliber for the role? Is that we, of course, conduct interviews, and also we check, sometimes we also conduct like real scenarios in terms of the assessment centers. Like if we have bulk recruitments, we conduct assessment centers when we ask the candidates to run a real scenario in front of us, so that we can judge their knowledge and we can assess and evaluate their also knowledge in terms of like technical side, let's say, along with the hiring manager. So no, of course, the job profile on LinkedIn is not, the candidate profile is not enough for us to assess if he's or she is the right caliber for the role or not.
Yeah, I guess, these types of tools, it's one of many. So yes, you might have to have a really nice CV and a really great LinkedIn to be able to get you at least shortlisted. But then from there, you still have to excel and exceed. And I think, people maybe don't realize that having these documents, amazing, it doesn't necessarily mean that you'll get the job. It will just assist you to get shortlisted.
Right. So the CV actually, it's also very important for the candidate, the CV formatting, the even picture. So for example, let's say one of my workshops which I have attended in LinkedIn office itself, where we are educated how do we present our even picture on LinkedIn profile. It has to be professional enough. It has to be like with certain background, with certain pose, and also the summary of the profile. This is how LinkedIn judge and evaluate how your profile is strong, like how the strengths of your profile. Is it a strong profile on LinkedIn or weak? Same applies for the CV as well. So for example, sometimes nowadays picture is not that mandatory on the CV. Sometimes, in the other, like when we're talking about 10 years back, CV, it's a must to have a picture, for example. Some companies are still asking for the picture. So, it depends on the thoughts of the company, the policy, the terminology, the way they think. So many factors, we look into this. Yeah,
of course. And so how do you see the recruitment process in terms of digitalization? For example, what comes to my mind, LinkedIn, for example, trialing having a video. So you would have to respond to, say, 4 different questions, and then based on your responses and even posture, body language, the algorithm would assess you with a score or a rating based on how you went in the video. Do you think that this will be widely spread and taken up?
Yes, I actually, I found it actually, good and valid step in the industry. However, what I would say from my point of view, the human touch still has to be there. Why? Because the system and this intelligence has no emotions actually, So for example, just an example, if I lead with a classic example, if I am asking a candidate to highlight a stressful situation, with the structured interview questions, and I ask her or him, just to highlight what has happened in the past and how did you sort out this and tackle this situation independently. And while I'm focusing on the candidate, apparently I'm not looking into the way she or he speaks, but I'm looking more into the body language and the face expressions, So I can understand these, tools, intelligent tools can read it, but not still like the human touch, Human beings, we can understand each other when you are getting emotional, when you are getting angry, your face expressions. So yeah, I agree. Like, let's say I agree and I don't agree as well.
No, it's very true. And I think the problem is when there's such a volume of applicants these days, and now that you can work remote, and it means that you'll have even more of a talent pool being able to apply, because you can now live, quite readily wherever you would like and accept the role. So I think that we're only going to be seeing more of these, and it might make it even more difficult to stand out, because you really have to shine among, a bigger talent pool than ever.
Right.
So
Right.
I guess I just want to ask maybe one or two more questions, and I really am appreciative of your valuable time. But what could candidates do in your eyes as someone who might be screening candidates? And I know that you're hiring at the moment, which I would love to hear more about, the position. But how do you identify talent to be able to, or not talent, but what makes someone stand out when you've got, 10, 20 shortlisted candidates? How does then someone present themselves well?
Great. So what I myself look into, as like essential, like fundamentals, we don't have to really ignore this at all. Let's say in terms of not the CV as well, but in terms of the interviewing process, when we invite the candidates for interview, like I'll just talk about this phase specifically, when we take the application forward to the interview stage. So first of all, let's say how presentable is the candidate is very important, of course. How smiley they are, because when you are just coming and you're just panicking and you're worried, of course we need to calm you down as a candidate. But if you're still in that emotion until we end the interview, then that does not help us to build a decision on if you're at the right caliber or not. So the self-confidence also has to be there. So that it shows actually on your face if you're really worried about. So there's nothing to be worried while the interview is happening. It's either the feedback yes or no. So there's nothing to be worried at all. And also, and the number 3, let's say, the tone of voice. This is what I look into also. The face expressions, the body language, very important also. The interview etiquette, for example, like how do I say goodbye after I finish my interview? How do I showcase myself and my skill set? How do I sell my competencies and skill set as well to the interviewer? So this is what I really, really look into to the candidate while I'm just conducting the interview.
Amazing. I think it's really important because, we're not really taught these skills. I mean, you go to high school, university, then you get a graduate position, and no one really ever teaches you how you should be presenting yourself. And, you would really have to go into some self-exploratory or some self-learning to be able to work out what are the techniques to sell yourself. And especially with people who, unfortunately due to COVID, they probably would never have even considered having to interview, and now all of a sudden they're jobless or their role is under threat, so they're having to really work themselves out. So really, thank you, appreciate the valuable advice. Please tell us more about the role. I know that you're hiring in Abu Dhabi. It would be great, if people could hear some more about this position. Any of the details would be fantastic.
All right, so the current positions you're talking about, right?
Yeah, if you're hiring for anything, you are welcome to let the audience know.
Maybe let's say the market now is more into the sales roles. Maybe the real estate industry is active right now. from my point of view. Also, the talent acquisition professionals are, it's just like needed, very, very needed in the market right now. And yeah, so that's it. Like just few roles, but however, the recruitment is not frozen like before during the pandemic. So it's getting actually active like before the pandemic. So I mean, it's getting better than before.
Yeah,
frankly speaking, yeah.
and a lot of jobs are hiring on an urgent basis. It's like quick. They want someone.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the market is actually picking up. Like I really could feel this. Yes.
Definitely. Do you think, and this will maybe bring us to a close, but do you think that it's important for people to have show to work or open to work on their LinkedIn profile? Do you think that helps a recruiter in finding someone, or it's not a good idea?
No, why not? Of course, it helps because now this badge, whether hiring or open to work, you can just simply see it from the profile when you open the profile of the candidate, which actually, pays the interviewer or the headhunter attention to this profile, specific profile. And also, while using the Boolean search in LinkedIn, there is advanced search where we can target the available immediately candidates, the open to work candidates. Even it actually picks up these candidates automatically by itself who are open for opportunities. So yes, it's a must. It's very, very good idea. It actually, it's like it facilitated the process for us and also makes us targeting the right candidate faster for those who are looking for a job.
This is on your LinkedIn Recruiter, or do you mean the standard LinkedIn where people can go advanced search?
Advanced search in the LinkedIn Recruiter, actually. In the Recruiter, if you have a Recruiter seat,
exactly,
or if you even have the subscription for the Recruiter Lite, then you can actually do it yourself also plus the badge, which is the golden badge of LinkedIn, if you are on premium subscription.
Exactly. Yep.
So yeah.
Good, cool. Okay, thank you so much. Is there anything that you would like, or any tips and tricks that you would like to give job seeker audience in closing?
Yes, of course. First of all, and I'm very thrilled to have this discussion with you, Resha. And I would like to just advise those who are looking for a job to do not give up at all. I heard sometimes, for example, when I'm talking about LinkedIn, I myself got hired thrice from LinkedIn, got 3 opportunities, and I call them like my golden opportunities, only from LinkedIn. So please just never give up and keep applying, and just apply to whatever matches your skills and you feel that you are gonna perform your best in this role. And do not just send irrelevant, just be an irrelevant CV to a post. It is not a good sign at all. Just target your right role that you are dreaming of. You think that you're gonna be a star and shine on it. Then yes, and also at the end, I wish everyone the best. Yeah, that's it.
I love it. I think it's just amazing message. It's something that even I myself am preaching the same message. Make sure that you've got a tailored resume, make sure that you're being strategic, focused, only applying for those roles that you're truly suitable for. Otherwise it really just diminishes your hopes and the internal feelings that you get confidence. So
correct.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. How can people connect with you?
I'm available, of course, on LinkedIn. So I never
I'll put your URL down below.
Sure. Fantastic. That's actually an honor to me. And of course, I'm open for any connection invitation, job seekers, or even business connections. So I hope I can help anyone, actually. So I'm open for this at any time.
Honeida, thank you so very much. Really, I appreciate your time, and wishing you all the very best. Stay connected.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time, and have a lovely evening.
Thank you.